Folks were asking me my thoughts on the restricted list. I think that this was a really, really good list. Beforehand, a lot of players were like, I don't want them to hit like 1 or 2 cards. I want them to like really shake up the game. This seems like a really good list. Maybe it doesn't go as far as it needs to. I think a lot of folks, myself included, were really expecting to see the Lightfang Nightclaw Tamer, the red one, maybe get hit to 1 or just banned outright. But it seems like both the decks that won on stream, for the most part, untouched. Sakuyamon's fantastic choice. Don't really have to change anything in the deck. Yeah, the Galaxy engine still revving every single turn, yeah. So, Velgramon for sure, I think that deck just gets dismantled. The only way that they can continue to loop now is by getting the old... You have to get a Duskmon and a Velgramon in trash, and then have a Duskmon in hand, and then you have to be able to swing and pull a Duskmon back from hand with the new Koichi Tamer. So you need this guy. You need this guy on the board, and he's going to let you return the Duskmon back to hand, the second Duskmon in your trash back to hand, which means, first of all, the setup for the deck, way slower. You got to get 2 cards in trash rather than just or like 3 cards in trash, I guess, at this point, because you got a Tamer as well. Although I guess you can just use the Tamer you have, the Koichi Tamer you're swinging with. But you need to have the Koichi who lets you pull Digimon back from trash. You've got to have the Duskmon in trash and the Velgramon in trash, and now you cannot extend your turns like you would with Jack Raid, where, at the start of the game, you just collected Jack Raids, and then whenever you played a mat in the late game, you could just get a Jack Raid back for like a free 4 memory. That doesn't happen anymore. So rather than Duskmon get stronger as the game goes on, and it's kind of like a steamroll of momentum, they don't get that anymore. It's like they're still playing the same game. In fact, they have less access to extend in the late game. I saw crazy stuff where they would like pull out like the Gallantmon, he would swing, and they'd like Jack Raid play down the Guillemon, he would swing, or they would like evolve over a Tamer they just played, then evolve into a Ginkakumon promote, and they would swing with that. It's like, all right, you gotta chill, bro. You should not have this much memory. Matt getting banned kind of makes sense. It's so generically good that everything Purple Prince basically gets better as a result of this. And because you only need to find 1 in the deck for Velgramon, even seeing 1 and being able to go to that deck as fast as you can is still too much. Yeah, I think the next big one folks were thinking about was Fenrir Lugamon. Up until Friday of last week, I was like, yeah, Fenrir Lugamon, Balmon's gotta go. He's gotta go. Balmon is the problem. And Ben, the guy the qualifier from Singapore, Ben Taver, he basically sold me that no, Balmon's not the problem. It's the Fenrir Lugamon. The Fenrir Lugamon actually is the issue. If you hit the Balmon, I still play Fenrir Lugamon, no problem. If you hit the Fenrir Lugamon, you stop the deck from doing the snap. That's what you want to stop. The Balmon still forces you to pay for costs, but what you don't want to happen is the snap. And so to do that, you have to hit the level 6 for the deck. When they snap back to 3, that's the issue. Yeah, so now Fenrir Lugamon is much slower. You have 1 copy of this card in the deck, and trying to dig it out as well as set up the trash is going to be really tough. Yeah, Patsky's right. Like, turn 2 Taki is not happening 95% of the time. Shoot, it might not be happening 99% of the time at this point. Oh, you meant beforehand? Yeah, I mean, I've gotten hit by that twice in the same tournament, 2 rounds in a row, so it is what it is. Kazuhamon makes sense. Talmon loop kind of sets a really weird precedent for what decks can do and how the game is played. I think they don't want the game to be there just yet, so this makes sense. Agunimon and Lobomon, basically, this hit kills both of the red and blue hybrid decks. All the hybrid decks just, got hung this past weekend, it feels like. Now, if you're playing hybrids, you are utilizing the actual, other form of the hybrid cards, where it's you swing, and then on attack, you evolve, and then that second level 4 you evolve until you warp into level 6, rather than abusing the 2 cost Agunimons here. This, I think, also kills the bird deck as well. Birds with Ancient Greymon on the top end also gets hit. Blinding Ray. This is a... How do we mention this? I guess before Blinding Ray, Mirage Galgamon. If you wanted him to get hit, you got what you asked for. Not much to say about that. It's been a long time coming, I suppose. Whether it was warranted or not, I guess it was. He is a floodgate, and we did see Galaxy Toolbox do kind of crazy stuff just a moment ago. So with that still fresh in our mind, Mirage Yagamon seems okay, but even that deck only had 1 copy of him, so who knows how much this actually does to it. Yeah, Blinding Ray and Stingmon. My feeling is that they were really harsh on all of the hybrid decks, Fenrir Lugamon, Tau Loop, and it feels like they gave Veemon-based decks a slap on the wrist. And I don't know if that's a warning shot, or if they are just really treading lightly on some of the more popular cards in the game. Blinding Ray does hurt Magnamon X, but Magnamon X as a deck is not dead. There are other cards that can like pop off your security. They're not as great as Blinding Ray by giving you 2 memory, and they also cost, so you have to like actually pay for them. For example, there's like the old yellow card Acid Injection, which is a 1-cost yellow option, which lets you burn a security, but then give you one of your opponent's Digimon minus DP. So that's an option. You probably forgot about this card because it's literally from like BT6. Yeah, trash top security, then you give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 5k for the turn. And when it's checked in security, you add it to hand, which I guess is not bad either. You always get it. And Stingmon, a lot of... I think they chose the starter deck Stingmon because his attacking effect is not once per turn. And the reduction is okay, but I don't think that's why they hit it. I think it's more so to like try to slow down the deck a little bit from all like the crazy draw they get, considering they already have access to tons of draw thanks to the search effects. Yeah, I feel like they chose this Stingmon for that reason, just because it's not once per turn, where I think the other ones are once per turn. Like the Veemon for sure is once per turn, right? Yeah, this is once per turn. The other Stingmons are not even draw, right? This is piercing, yeah. Veemons have any draw? These are like other effects, right? Like plus 2k or Jogger's end of turn, yeah. Where's the promo one? Here we go. Damn. Actually, they still get it with this guy, huh? That's crazy that they did make this once per turn. So yeah, it feels like a bit of a slap on the wrist. But I don't know if that's because like they know Veemon is really popular, or they're like, we don't think they're that bad. And then this awful, horrid mistake that I'm sure they'll peel back in like a day or two, because there's nothing stronger than a mother's love for her son, and Mother, D Reaper, and Shoto Kazama were the perfect family. This one really hurt though. I really wanted to use my Justimon deck, and now I'm running like black Gotsumon that have blocker and searching on deletion if it's opponent's turn. Yeah, so I think for all intents and purposes, this is a pretty good list. They could have gone a little bit further and just added the Light Fang Nightclaw Red Tamer here. I think it'd have been like perfect. I think folks were like hoping that they hit Magnamon X. It's not happening, fam. It's not happening. Like, you saw what it took to hit Apocalypse, and Magnamon X ain't doing anything like that right now. So, not bad, not bad. I give it like I give it an A-, you know? It's a pretty good list. Like, if we're gonna grade the ban list here, A-. You could have got a perfect score if you'd have hit the Light Fang Nightclaw Tamer, but I'm okay with all this. Also, I'm not really a big fan of this. So, you know, I revised that. B+. B+. Mother Shoto, give me that back, please. Thinking about where the game goes from here, my hope, and this might not be even a good hope or a good idea. My hope is that with Velgramon out of the picture, or mostly out of the picture, I think you let decks go wide again. Because decks that try to like really go aggressive and go wide in the past, they like one Velgramon wipes all of the Digimon of one level. So it was really hard to build any sort of like presence on board, especially when he could also change a color and then wipe out technically 2 levels in one go. So I'm hoping that with Velgramon gone, more aggressive decks in the game that can play out really quickly and like load to the ground Digimon do better. And I'll be interested to see how like that aggressiveness changes up the game, considering right now Royal Knights is really strong. We saw Sakyamon and Galaxy Toolbox do really good. And I say that my idea isn't that great, just because even with Velgramon out of the picture, Blue-Green Imperial Dramon can still freeze an entire board for a turn, and Sakyamon still has the blanket minus 5k. Hexablamon also still exists, so I think it still might be tough. But I'm hoping that there's something that the game or that players can do to build up like aggressiveness in the game. Otherwise, I think that the Royal Knights deck is really problematic as well. Like if we take a look at this, right? Let me mark up a little bit, freehand it with the X. If we think about what the ban list hits, we got this guy, this guy. This technically lives. We're going to consider like Sakyamon as different from Talmon Loop here. Hey, this is okay. This is okay. This like gets a little strike. This is okay. This gets a little strike. Even I still think this was like a slap on the wrist. This is gone. This is 100% untouched. So what does that leave us, right? Like Sakya, Royal Knights, Virus Imperial, Duke's doing really well. Galaxy Toolbox is there. Oh wait, this one gets giga murdered. That's hurt. Super dead. R.I.P. Yeah. I think it leaves maybe these 3 decks, maybe these 4 here at the top of the game, and then maybe Duke and the rest kind of at the second or the level below. I'm hoping that there is something that can stave off the power of Royal Knights, though. I mean, Sakyamon might just be like a better pick considering what we've seen so far, and I might actually believe that Sakyamon actually has a good matchup into Royal Knights, but that damn Omekamon if they can get, I guess if you can get past the Omekamon, that forces you to get into a Valder arm. So, okay, yeah, never mind. I believe, yeah, Sakemon's pretty good. Hopefully this is the rise of Zafagamon as well. Zafagamon, I think, might have trouble with any deck that actually utilizes Tamers, right? They can play like the Argomon, but that's only going to freeze the Tamer. Yeah, Zafagamon can beat Royal Knights if they're immune and they pop off. That's true. You just have to make sure that you somehow find a way to keep the Digimon to be over 16,000 on your opponent's turn. That's the issue, because like even being invincible to effects is not enough against Royal Knights, because one Omnimon X antibody who's a 16k Digimon can still attack into your Digimon 2 times. Like I remember setting up games with Jesmon where I would have like the Gankumon a level 4 on the board, and I thought, okay, I can use the Gankumon. I've got full invincibility from Digimon effects, so I can't be wiped by anything, and I can use the Gankumon to block in case I need to block for the level 4. And if they go to security, I can just have the security and I can just go into a Jesmon next turn. But my opponent plays down the Omni X, he attacks, and then he can attack again. That just still wipes my board. So as long as the Zafagamon can find a way to get over 16k, they're in a good spot. The effect immunity is also not so important if they only have like 1 or 2 Digimon on board. I mean, like things like Daiken, the Rika Tamers, you know, the Cool Boys. Those are all very like Tamer-centric decks. Like Galmon also has the Takato Tamers. Takato, however you want to say it. It'll be interesting to see where the game lands here, but it looks like these 4 might be the decks to contend with. Virus Imperial, Sakuya, Royal Knights, and Galaxy Toolbox. These 2 have, like, I will be really honest, these 2 decks right here have definitely sold me after this weekend, where I wouldn't have maybe said Sakemon before this weekend. I've definitely been sold. And maybe we see lots more Psychemon. Just drop some Psychemons in the deck, maybe a Pomomon or 2, and everything will be all right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these are the decks that we've seen win before. It'll be nice to see something else kind of just like pop up, though. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think, where the game's at, or the game's headed at this point. But what's even cooler, what I really love about like a ban list is that you take a look at all the decks you have afterward, and you're like, all right, so this doesn't work anymore, this doesn't work anymore, this doesn't work anymore. So let me try some stuff that I didn't think would work in the past, but maybe it works now. That's always like the funnest part for me. That's kind of why I'm building like the Lord Knight stuff. I've got a couple of ideas, and we'll see how they work out. Again, might be coping, but I like Dark Knightmon, man. I like Lord Knightmon too. I like them.